So I've decided to adopt a new era of optimism this week, and I'm going to give the pre-show a try. Oh, fuck off. What's that ugly smeghead doing? Oh, Tunga's up. No, let's just go on to the main thing. And before we get a chance to move on, Byron Sexton been referred to as the insider. Inside what? Inside your handbag replacing your birth control tablets with tranquilizers? I don't get it. It doesn't seem like he knows anything. Any quote-unquote inside knowledge he attains is from people's Twitter and Facebook account, not from actually anybody wanting to engage in conversation with him. So just cease this bullshit, please. Well, at least the pay-per-view starts off on a positive note with the New Day against the Usos. It's a fantastic match, the best on the card. We had a surprising mix around with the lineup for the New Day as Xavier Woods was in and Big E was out. And Xavier even got a great showing for the duration. He didn't come off looking like the weakling. Kofi got killed with a double-team powerbomb on the outside, leaving Xavier to fend for himself for a good 5 minutes. And he just pretty much kicked out of everything. Eventually, after the Usos tried a few shenanigans, they all backfired and the New Day got Trouble in Paradise, followed up by Xavier's springboard elbow, and we've got new tag team champions. Wasn't expecting it so soon. I don't think it's necessary so soon. I've really been liking heel Usos, especially since they've got the gold, but thumbs up from me and we'll see where it goes. We move on to the obligatory WWE Network advert on the WWE Network. Yeah, it's irritating, it's annoying, I still don't know why they do it. Maybe they just like patting themselves on the back. Next, we've got a confused match with Shinsuke Nakamura against Baron Corbin. On paper, it should have been good, but the crowd was still really tired from the tag match, as exciting as it was. It was very nice of Nakamura to work with younger talent, instead of going straight for the legends. It seemed they tried to work a slower pace match, with Baron headlocking and bear hugging Nakamura for a lot of it. And just when it looks like Shinsuke is about to win, Corbin can't win, so he just boots Nax in the knackers and gets disqualified. Nobody here's bad at the job, I think it's just the booking. I just shrug my shoulders and wonder where the fuck that was going, and what purpose it was meant to serve. SummerSlam adverts are already smashing our back doors in, or at least they seem spoiler-free. I just don't like it when WWE just give the impression that we need to dismiss the rest of this pay-per-view, because, yeah, road to SummerSlam now, fuck everything else. Oh dear, my optimism hasn't lasted long. I think I got one match out of it. Nobody was bad in the Divas 5-way match. It was just quite clunky and pointless, and I just don't like it when a brand put all the lasses on their roster in one match, just to get them out of the way. We started off with a chair dancer versus a crazy cat lady versus some deaf Irish bin versus a Samoan versus a product of rape. Lana and Tamina work together. I'm quite intrigued into their little relationship. Somewhat of a prison bitch vibe going on. I'd like to see where it goes, if at all it's going somewhere. Lana's not the greatest in the ring. She's trying hard, she's learning as fast as she can, but maybe the WWE need to realise that she's a much better mouthpiece, and Tamina needs a mouthpiece because she's horrible on the mic, despite how great she's... well, not great, but she's a lot better than she was a year ago. Although saying that, Tamina's the first one out of the match, then one of Lana's flaps falls out of her outfit, and then she's eliminated from the match. Becky's the next to go, leaving Charlotte and Natalya at the end. Everyone assumes Charlotte's going to go over, since Charlotte versus Naomi seems to be a much bigger match on paper and on a billboard for SummerSlam, but Natalya gets the better of her and becomes the new #1 contender. I think she's worked hard enough, and I am surprised she hasn't had a decent run with the belt yet. Again, fan of women's wrestling, I just don't like how they deal with it. It's just yet another case of me feeling like I care more than they do, and it's their product. Oh, we know what time it is now. WWE love to be bullies. Yeah. Second best match of the night now is AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. Both lads did really well, they had a good solid match, they have good chemistry with each other. It was just a shame about a bit of a dodgy ending involving a ref bump. AJ went for the Styles Clash, Owens threw him off him, took the ref out with him. The referee spent about 3 minutes pretending to be Velma from Scooby-Doo going, "Where's my glasses?" Then a submission got reversed, Kevin Owens pinned AJ, and a referee with blurred vision / a woozy head didn't see that AJ's shoulder was actually up. But KO still won the belt. 3-time champion now. I'm guessing we're going to get some form of action replay on SmackDown. We go backstage with a nice little promo between Jinder and Pals. They talk about positivity and look forward to the match later on. Singh brothers say that for some reason they can't join him at ringside, though I'm sure they can climb over or through the cage, / bamboo webbing. But wants to assume it's just a bit of misdirection. Why do we do this? We're on Cena and Rusev now in a flag on a pole match. Just some bullshit on a pole. Just an absolutely horrible, horrible match concept. Obviously, Cena won. We got to see plenty of over-the-top Super Saiyan Cena antics. And yeah, the Americans won again. But what's the point? I don't care at all, and it's not just because I'm not American or Bulgarian. I don't particularly have any national pride. I'm not ashamed of where I'm from, being England. But I just feel like things like this, the more you bleat on about them, the more of a divide you're going to make. Where you were born and where you're from should be about as much of an issue here as what star sign you are. You can't really pick and choose some of these things. Much like the competitors in the WWE and the people watching. All you're doing is creating divides. Stop it. It's fucking old-fashioned and ridiculous. We go from old-fashioned to the Fashion X-Files now, which was just fantastic. I was actually a fan of the X-Files and I grew up watching it, and there were so many nice little nods in here, not just to the X-Files but to other little bits too, like the Blair Witch Project. The Ascension showed up and tried to take credit for the recent mishaps, but once Fandango showed the Ascension the severed horse's head, it was quite evident that they weren't responsible as the contents of the stomach soon hit the floor. Then the lights went out and Breezango got ambushed. As a wild swing in the dark, I'm going to guess it's Eric Young and co from NXT, or maybe Luke Harper and Eric Rowan have got back together, since we've not seen them on television for a while. We then go back to the table team after this, and JBL just looks, he doesn't get it. He has no idea what the fuck's just gone on. He swallows a mouthful of vomit, and as far as he's concerned, he may as well just watch Brokeback Mountain twice. It actually makes me quite amused at how uncomfortable he appears, the insecure homophobic prick. Sami Zayn and Mike Kanellis had a decent bout, although it was just pretty much the same as the first match on SmackDown, bar the last two moves. Zayn went for the haluva kick, Maria jumped in the way, and instead of Mike Kanellis taking advantage of this, he backfired and Zayn just hit a haluva kick for the win. So, 50-50 booking, where's it going? Who knows? And last but most certainly least, Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton in a painted steel cage match. Very obvious that it's painted steel cage, because when the padlocks hit the bamboo, I use the word bamboo very lightly, it sounds a lot higher pitched than it should do, suggesting that it's metallic and not wooden. Just the basics of these things, you'd think people have never worked in theatre or television before. Idiots. Despite a couple of decent spots in the match, one of the Singh brothers falling off the top of the cage, through the table, and some hellacious shots with a kendo stick, the match was just drawn out way too fucking long. It was about 30 minutes, I think. It just seemed like it went on for 30 years. It took Randy Orton 30 days and 30 nights to fend off all three guys, and then eventually, once he got to the top of the cage, the Shite Khali returned, shook the cage, Orton fell off. As he climbed back up, Khali grabbed him by the throat. This allowed Jinder to climb over and retain. I have no idea why the Khali is here, other than trying to gain interest from India. He's never entertained me. I don't think he's entertained many people, maybe just Vince McMahon, while lubing up his shriveled little chipolata, but it was just a really botched together ending, I felt. And another thing, putting the camera underneath the Great Khali's gut doesn't make him look taller. It just makes him look like he's got a fucking massive gut and that he's out of shape. If they are keeping him for good, then fair enough, keep him stood behind Jinder, let him just chop people, don't let him talk. Please don't let him talk. If you're going to be disrespectful and subtitle the guys from the Special Olympics when they've done their little promos on Raw, then you have to give sign language and subtitles for the Great Khali, because he's just dire. Well, that was Battleground. Wasn't really anything to write home about. Tag match was great, US Championship match was alright, but from what I've heard, Game of Thrones was airing at the same time, and for some reason WWE feared this. So fucking what if thrown at the same time? WWE used to go head to head with the competition. They didn't just bend over, grab their ankles and claim that they weren't even trying, so if they lose in the ratings, it doesn't even matter. How fucking pathetic can you be? Put on your best show at all times. Don't just screw the audience because you think you might not make as much money and get as many views as you may possibly do if you'd booked it at another time. More than likely this is just bad booking. It could just be a case of the fact that they're just ramming pay-per-views down our throats every other week. Let's just keep our fingers crossed, try and be optimistic and look forward to SummerSlam, seeing as we've got a good 4 weeks or so until that comes rolling in. And that's enough out of me for the time being. If you'd like to ask me questions or leave me abuse, I can be found on Twitter @BluntDamage. If you'd like to comment on the video, you can follow the link in the description to the Botchamania site and do so there. And while you're on the site, you can check out 10 quality years of Botchamania, obviously, the entire backlog of my Raw rant, going all the way back to my written work, /walls of text, Vinny's midweek wrestling write-ups, and a shit ton more great stuff on the site to keep you busy. And last but not least, if you like my theme music, the band are The Colour Fire, and they can be found at www.thecolourfire.com, and their digital store links can be found in my description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.